Hey guys, Barcode Pez coming to you again with another deck profile. This deck profile is in fact Elemental Dragons. These guys are awesome. I've had so much fun with these guys. I've actually been I pretty much, as soon as I saw these guys on Dueling Network, I thought, come on, there's got to be a lot more to what these people are doing. Because these people, what they were doing is they were just trying to turbo it all out, but I could counter it. And the thing is I'm an Evil Swarm player, so this deck doesn't scare me. But I thought maybe, if I wasn't using Evil Swarm, would this deck destroy me? Yes, it did a tiny bit, but the thing is I was using Fire Kings, and every time he'd get a summon on, I'd always keep Tarantuling, or I'd keep chaining my circle of the Fire Kings just to destroy the Grenax, so it wipes his field next turn. And to be honest, after that, you just chain your Threatening Roar, so they can't even attack. And that's how you stun this deck. But I'm not trying to tell you guys how to beat this deck, I'm trying to tell you guys why this deck is so awesome. And I'm not really doing good marketing right now. So, either way, this deck is amazing. It's pure beatdown. It's pretty much just Chaos Dragons in its own format. But I've made it a tiny bit different to how a lot of other people do it. I thought maybe there's something a bit different. I've been testing, yada yada yada, playtesting, more playtesting, doing a little tiny bit of research, yada yada yada, stuff like that. And I came up with this, and I came up with a couple of texts, and the texts are pretty good. I'm just going to move the text to the top, and then I will get on with the deck profile. Now, the deck profile is pretty awesome. It's pretty standard. Standard? What am I talking about? I thought of this. But anyway, pretty much we have 2 Light and Darkness Dragon. Easy as hell to summon in this deck, very possible. Then we have 1 Yamata Dragon. You only want to keep this at 1 because why would you have 2? There's no point. Just have it at 1. You can only summon 1 per turn anyway. And if it gets destroyed, whoop-de-fucking-do. Then we have Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It's a dragon deck, so this is a staple in a dragon deck, so it works out. Then we have Montage Dragon. This card is actually very useful in this deck. I've never really been a big fan of Montage Dragon. I rarely even used him when he came out. Not many people did. But I think he's actually pretty good in this deck because just how, these guys, if they're in the grave, you just need to banish 2 to be able to special another. And these guys, when they're in the grave, it's like pretty much you send 3 or more. You have to send 3 other monsters from your hand to the grave. And then he gains 300 attack times the level. So, let's say you had 2 Blaster and a Redox. So pretty much you send the 2 Blaster and the Redox. So 3 times 7, guys, is 2100. That's 21. Times that by 3. That's 6,300 attack. And then you can special out your Blaster and just have fun. So that's the OTK thing. So it works out. Then we have Necroface. Necroface is a very useful card in this deck, especially late game, only because both players are going to be shuffling. Both players, if this is banished, remove the top 5 cards of their deck. We can plus off that, so that's okay. And then when it's normal summon, shuffle all remove from play cards into their owner's decks. So pretty much you're going to be banishing a lot of cards, because you've got so many dragons in this deck. You're going to be banishing them and banishing them and banishing them. You've got to be able to recycle them. Necroface is the perfect way to do that. And Necroface gains 100 attack for each of those cards shuffled back in. I had 30 cards in my banished zone at one point, and then I normal summoned this, and my opponent just quit. I was like, whoa. So it really does work out. And then we got Malefic Stardust Dragon. This is a random ass card, I know, but it works as a tribute as well with Light and Darkness and Yamata, so I'm not going to complain. Also, you can use them as a target for a Blaster and Redux, so it works out. A lot of people do question why I use Redux, but I'll get into that later. So, right, where was I? Okay, now into the elemental side. Then we got Blaster. We're running 3 Blaster, only because Blaster searches Yamata. I know I'm only running 1 Yamata, but at least with Blaster I can make sure I can get the search. Then we have a free Redux. The reason I run Redux over Tidal is because it searches Montage Dragon. So, gotta get that Montage Dragon. And then we have the Searcher of the Elemental Dragons. I don't know if I call it a Searcher. I think I'd call it more of a. I don't even know. I think it's pretty much just a special. It's just an easy way to get them out. But Burner, the Elemental Dragon of Fire, just pretty much discard him with another Dragon type card or Fire card to special summon Blaster. Blaster cannot attack the turn he's special summoned though from that effect. Then we have a Reekton, the Elemental Dragon of Earth. That's the specialer of Redux. Same effect as Burner. Then we have free Eclipse Wyvern. Eclipse Wyvern allows us to plus and to do so much stuff. We can set ourselves up with Light and Darkness, Yamata, Red Eyes Darkness Metal, Montage Dragon, and Malefic Stardust, so it works out. I don't know why we'd need to set ourselves up for that though. Who gives a shit about Malefic Stardust? But then we have Free Gold Sarcophagus. This gives us pluses. So plus, like a fucking bitch. Then we have 7-star sword, plus, like a fucking bitch. Then we have 2 MST and the triple threat staple lineup, which is Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, and Dark Hole. Then we have a Borrow from a Different Dimension, just to add back some banished cards into our grave, so we can have some fun with it. Then we have DDR, just to special summon those banished cards which we'd rather have on the field. Two Chaos Zones. When you get Chaos Zone out, you can do so much. I mean, you're going to be banishing tons and tons and tons of cards. You can special all these guys out, so it works out either way. Then we have Torrential Tribute. Only one though, because, I don't know, I've never really been fond of Torrential Tribute apart from in Fire Kings and Evil Swarm. In anything else, I'm just kind of like, nah, I'm alright. But Torrential Tribute isn't too bad. I would probably replace it with a Compulse. Like, if your preference is not Torrential Tribute, then replace it with Compulse. I never like traps that cannot chain, but Torrential Tribute is the only trap I'll make an exception for. Now, on the lineup of traps that can chain, we have 2 Threatening Roar. Threatening Roar is amazing in this deck. If your field gets wiped, you need to be able to stall. And this deck can be really conservative, but it can also be really fucking aggressive. And when it's conservative, it works out just as good as it does when it's aggressive. Only because you're not banishing so much, so you can get so many plays off, especially when you get Light and Darkness out. When you have Light and Darkness out, you just sit on it. You just sit on it for a while, wait for them to waste their resources, and then you just explode afterwards. Then the final thing is Return from a Different Dimension. I love this card, especially late game. Late game, this card is awesome. Now we are going into the extra deck, which consists of number 11, Big Eye. Big Eye is awesome because we don't actually have that many BT monsters. The only BT monster we actually have is Montage Dragon, which is kind of a boss monster, I think. I think we could call it a boss monster. And Necroface. Necroface late game does become a really big beat stick, but that's the thing, late game. Like, this is good early game, this is amazing late game. And we can't beat over a Grapha, which has Gates of the Dark World up. We cannot beat over BLS. We're very prone to effects, things like that. So we got to be able to bounce back from that, and Big Eye is the perfect way to bounce back. Then we have the Mega Phantom Beast Dragosack, 3 of them. This is amazing in the deck. It really does also show how conservative the deck can be. This extra deck is very conservative, but then again, aren't all rank 7. Oh my god, why have I all of a sudden just come up with a cold? This isn't even fair. But yeah, pretty much, I think everyone knows this guy's effect. Detach, you special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. While there is a token on the field, he cannot be destroyed by card effect or by battle. But you contribute one of those tokens just to destroy a card in the field. So it's pretty fucking awesome. Then we have Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. I've never gone into him, but I think he's just there for situational purposes. Then we have 3 Lucky Straight. I've never used it, but fuck it, you never know. And then we have one Stardust Dragon. I'm not running Starlight Road only because the Stardust Dragon is just for the Malefic Stardust. But now I'm going to get into some techs, and maybe a tiny bit of ruling. Now, the tech of Light and Darkness Dragon is a fairly obvious one, guys. I mean, you're going to be running all this stuff that special summons itself out so easily. Why not? You know, you can summon 2 guys out pretty damn easily in this deck. So Light and Darkness Dragon works out. Yamata is awesome. Refills your hand, pretty much. When this guy attacks your opponent and inflicts battle damage, draw until you have 5 cards. Now, you mill your hand very easily in this deck. Before I even thought of running him, I noticed that, you know, I'm destroying my hand. I need to do something, and Yamata was just popped up into my mind. I mean, I only really know of this card was when I was making my Fabled Monarchs. I was looking at a lot of spirits, and I was trying to figure out what I could run, and I saw Yamata, and I thought, you know, that's not too bad. But I didn't put it in, and I just remembered him because he's fire, he's a dragon, and he works out. And he's so damn useful. Red Eyes Darkness Mel is not really a tech, but he's a staple card in all dragon decks. He is a boss. And then we have the Montage Dragon. This guy sets us up for a play. Just one, no. At least we can get a 1 play, and this guy is so freaking beaty. I mean, it's like, you know, discard him free. All of these guys are level 7 and higher. That's the only reason we do it. We wouldn't do it with these guys. Well, we could, but there would be no point because we'd want to get the specials off. If we draw into this and we've got like two Redux and a Blaster in hand, just discard the 2 Redux and the Blaster. And then you banish the 2 Redux and you get the effect of Redux from Blaster to special. And this guy will have 6,300 attack. And then you got a 28 beater on the field as well. That's pretty hard to get past. Now, I'm tired. Necroface. Necroface is awesome because late game sets you up and refills your deck. So all the plays that you've been doing, you can just redo. So it works out. And late game, he becomes a boss monster. I mean, he gains 100 attack for every banished card that returns into the deck. There was one point when I had 30 cards banished, so, you know, he becomes 4,200. I'm really not going to complain about that. Malefic Stardust Dragon, it just stops the Chaos Zone from being destroyed. And Chaos Zone itself is really a tech because you're banishing so much, you could probably banish, I don't know, 4 times a turn. So, you know, you get 4 counters on it. The next turn, do the same thing, and you can actually special summon one of these back later on. Or if it's destroyed, you can just search for one. But either way. Guys, that is the deck. I will post a video of how I do with this tomorrow. I'm actually very tired right now, and I'm going to go to sleep. I've had a lot of fun with this deck though, and I will show you some of my fun tomorrow. So if you want to try out this deck, I do advise you do try this deck out because I think it's amazing, and I do believe that this is probably going to become meta due to the fact that it runs like Chaos Dragons. So I think it's going to hit meta, and all the hype that hits this deserves it. This deck deserves the hype. As much as Evil Swarm and Fire Kings can beat over it, you know, you gotta think, any other deck, boom, this deck's got it. I thrashed Mermails, I thrashed Wind-Ups, so on and so forth. Enjoy, guys. I'm Bark and Pez. I'm signing off. Please leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. I'll see you guys later.